we're going to do a short piece before we get to the questions. And Neil is going to talk about, and this is, you might bristle up against this, but he is going to talk about from his perspective how he thinks Christians could be most effective in the marketplace. Now you're thinking, why would we listen to somebody who doesn't believe talk about how believers ought to be in the marketplace? But I'm going to challenge you to have enough courage to listen and to consider and to hear him out. And I think that that's a valuable thing. And while you're kind of doing this short piece, I'm going to go over and go through some of these questions. If you have other questions, just kind of raise them up, and we'll try to get through some of those. So talk about that. I hope I set you up well.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. I'm not going to be real long about that either, but he asked me a question as we were having conversation about what I see the Christian's role in the marketplace is from my perspective. What would be your role in being a part of the kingdom of God in whatever form that looks like? And I've had enough years as a Christian in a number of different settings to know what that's asking. And the best way I know to answer that is to say that there are two competing narratives. There's two competing ideas about what the Christian's role and what the church's role in the world should be. Goofus preaches to his friends in order to convert them to his own religion. He believes people will go to hell if they don't believe the same things he believes. Gallant doesn't believe in conversion or eternal torture, so he spends time with his friends enjoying their company. There's two competing narratives. One says the church's role in the world is to convert the world to think the same way they do and believe the same things they do, because if they don't, it's going to be bad. And whatever form that takes is different from group to group. Some, it's a matter of eternal hell. For some, it's just a matter of the world going to pot. You know, I'm not sure what form that would take, but one of the popular narratives that's been around since about the mid-1800s is that a bad guy is going to show up one day, and the bad guy is going to take over everything. Some people think he already has around here. That's a catchy narrative. That'll sell, and that'll preach. It'll preach and sell, and it does. People have actually gotten quite wealthy off of this idea because fear tends to make a lot of money. I don't know if you've noticed that. And the internet seems to have hyped that whole thing up. But there is another narrative that says, what if we see the church as a light of the world and salt of the earth, as something that is a presence in the world to make it a better place? That is another way of looking at what it means to be the kingdom of God. That's another way of looking at what it means to be heaven on earth, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. And it's not trying to convert others to be what you are, but simply relate to them in such a way that you meet them where they are and be a positive presence in their life. And that's two different ways of approaching the role of the church in the world. And I can tell you right now, as someone who is outside of the faith, which one I would respond to better. I would have no reason to have conversation with this guy. And if the goal is to convert me, you've failed at the beginning because it's exclusionary talk. Now, the question of whether or not it's okay to believe in the things he believes is a separate conversation to have. But I will tell you that the effect on someone like me is that I'm going to turn you off. And that's not a way to have a relationship or a conversation with someone like me. And fear certainly is not a great way to build a good relationship. But on the other hand, if you see the church's role in the world as being a beneficial presence, something that makes the world a better place, that helps to restore things that are broken, that helps to bring light in places that are dark, those are the kinds of metaphors I can grab hold of because I actually identify with that. I would call myself a humanist. You know, the word secular humanism is a phrase that was thrown around a lot when I was a kid. And I was into studying foreign religions, and secular humanism was a bad word. If you were a secular humanist, that was something you said when you kind of sneered when you said it. But I actually would consider myself that now. And all it simply means is you want to see the best good happen for the most people possible. And you want to be a part of that in any way you can. And the goals of a secular humanist are not significantly different from the goals of this second narrative. The narrative that says, we're not here to make everybody think like us. We're here to be a light and a presence that brings positive things to their life.